Hello everyone, I am Klepić and today I will present you paper Impact of Organizational Creativity on Business Performance of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises of authors Zdenko, Klepić, Mirela, Mabić and myself. First, you can see the structure of this paper: introduction, theoretical background, methodology of research, research results and discussion, and at the end we will present you conclusion. The subject of this paper is the organizational creativity, but as well performances in small and medium-sized enterprises. The main goal set for this research is to gain insight into the impact of the organizational creativity on the success of small and medium-sized enterprises. Also, some sub-goals have been set for this research. They are to come to knowledge of whether and to what extent organizational creativity has impact on each of the four perspectives of balanced scorecard: the financial perspective, the customer perspective, the internal business process perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. The theoretical background consists of three main parts: organizational creativity, balanced scorecard, and small and medium-sized enterprises. Creativity is a new and original way of thinking and acting, which always deviates from standard methods of searching for solutions for a certain problem, situation, or conflict. Also, we can say that it is a capability of creating new original contents, such as ideas, concepts, techniques, methods, models, products, organizations, etc. Three main elements of creativity in organizations are individual creativity, team creativity, and organizational creativity. Creativity requires individuals with creative characteristics, who feel free from threat and pressure, and who work in supportive environment. Creativity should significantly increase performance. It should be a driver of team effectiveness and be positively associated with organizational success and change. By encouraging creativity, it is possible to achieve some competitive advantage and to elevate organization to excellent organizations. The organizational creativity is a continuous engagement of employees and managers in creative efforts, which resulted in innovation. Balanced scorecard. Well, we know that business success can be measured by numerous financial or quantitative and qualitative measures. Qualitative data, they are more objective, since they are listed numerically and are equally considered by all observers. Despite that objectivity, they actually reflect past performance, and they do not necessarily point to sustainability of success in the future. But in the last 20 years, we can say that the focus is on qualitative data. Balanced scorecard model or method represent a combination and kind of balance between those two, quantitative and qualitative business results. Balanced scorecard looks at an organization from four perspectives, or four different sides of company: the financial perspective, the customer perspective, the internal business process perspective, and the learning and growth perspective. Why small and medium-sized enterprises? Well, they represent more than 99% of total number of enterprises, and they employ almost 70% of total numbers of employees. They are main drivers of innovation, employment, and social and local integration in Europe. That's the reason why the European Union has put SMEs at the top of their priorities. SMEs in Bosnia and Herzegovina, they are even more important, given the fact that the economy in the war and after has significantly collapsed. So it is expected that SMEs could and should be the backbone of Bosnia and Herzegovina's development, which should enable and could enable faster growth and development. We all know that Bosnia and Herzegovina is a complex state, and it consists of two entities in Brčko district, and that's the reason why the definition of small and medium-sized enterprises is not fully harmonized, and each entity, as well as Birchko district, has its definition and its own classification. We can see that from a table on this slide. At the end of the theoretical background, we set some hypotheses. First, and the main one, is that the correlation between organizational creativity and business performance of small and medium enterprises exists. And there are 4 sub-hypotheses, and they said that correlation exists between organizational creativity and each of the 4 perspectives of balanced scorecard model. Methodology of research consists of 2 parts: the scope of the research, methods of collecting and processing data model, and operationalization of variables. The empirical research was conducted in the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, or area of Herzegovina, in April and May in the year 2019, and 32 enterprises participated in that study. The sample consisted of 18 small and 14 medium-sized enterprises. An originally questionnaire was prepared, and it consisted of 3 parts. The first part of the questionnaire held a set of questions about the characteristics of the enterprises. The second part referred to the evaluation of the effectiveness of the enterprises using the 4 dimensions of balanced scorecard. And every dimension had contained 4 items that were graded from 1 to 5. And I have shown you that, I will show you that in the next table. In the third part of the questionnaire, it is focused on the evaluation of the creativity on the enterprises that included individual, team, and as well as organizational creativity in the period of time from 2015 to 2019. An online survey was conducted, and the questionnaire was created using Google Forms, and the link of that questionnaire was sent to companies via mail. Enterprise responses were recorded in Microsoft Excel, and they were analyzed with SPSS with numerous methods such as Shapiro-Wilk test, test for independent samples, the Pearson correlation, the Spearman correlation, and Mann-Whitney U-test. Operationalization of variables. Well, we have 2 variables: organizational creativity and business performance of SMEs. Organizational creativity was measured through individual, team, and organizational creativity. Individual creativity was measured by setting questions which refer to personal characteristics of work environment, characteristics that encourage individual creativity. Team creativity was measured by setting questions which refer to the role of work teams in encouraging creativity, and the organizational creativity, or indicators of organizational creativity and organizational methods of encouraging the creation and sharing of ideas, cooperation between certain sections, reward system, and similar. The 4 balanced scorecard perspectives were measured through indicators that I have shown you in the last table. Research results and discussion. In the first part of research results, this table shows you the characteristics of enterprises included in our research, but the better view is here on these graphs. Companies' activity of companies included in our research show us that tourism and catering have 25%, wholesale and retail 12.5%, then goes manufacturing, constructions, and other. According to number of employees, we have 56.2% of small companies and 43.8% of medium companies. With regard, most companies are legally organized as a limited liability companies, or 62.5%, and in private ownership is 81.3% of all research companies, while 34.4% of companies have one owner, and 46.9% of them has multiple owners. Means for creativity and effectiveness of a business, according to balanced scorecard perspectives for the whole sample and according to the size of the enterprises, are shown in next table. A significant difference in the creativity and effectiveness between small and medium-sized enterprises was not found. Despite that, it's interesting to view the means for the questioned variables. The means for creativity show insignificant differences between small and medium-sized enterprises. Means for both have been around 4, which analyzed within the context of research statements, indicating that within these enterprises it's encouraged to freely express new ideas, team effort is nurtured, problems are approached rationally, individual diversity and open communication between employees is also supported. As far as effectiveness goes, the mean for all 4 balanced scorecard dimensions, just alike with creativity, or are around 4, which indicates an improvement in all 4 dimensions. The next table shows coefficients of correlations between creativity and effectiveness of the enterprises for the whole sample and according to the size of the enterprises. The results of correlations show that there is a significant positive correlation between the scores of organizational creativity and all dimensions of balanced scorecard effectiveness. The results obtained for individual and team creativity show that the scores for creativity are in significantly positive correlations with 2 dimensions of effectiveness: internal business dimension and learning and growth dimension. In addition, if the analysis is conducted on the basis of common grade of creativity and a common grade of efficiency, it is found that there is a significant positive correlation between these 2 variables. In the subgroup of small enterprises, a significant positive correlation was found between individual creativity and a learning and growth dimension. In the subgroup of medium-sized enterprises, a significant positive correlation was found between all 3 aspects of creativity: individual, team, and organizational, and 3 dimensions of balanced scorecard: customer, internal business dimension, and learning and growth dimension. Analysis based on a common grade of creativity and common grade of efficiency in the subgroup of small enterprises did not show statistically significant correlation, while in subgroup of medium-sized enterprises, the correlation was positive and significant. So at the end, we can say that all hypotheses are confirmed. The first one, the correlation between organizational creativity and business performance of small and medium-sized enterprises exists, and that's true, as well as all 4 sub-hypotheses, that correlation exists between organizational creativity and all 4 dimensions of balanced scorecard model. In the conclusion, we can say that the results of this research have shown that the significant positive correlation existed between organizational creativity and business performance of SMEs, and it would be necessary for SMEs to encourage and develop creativity in organizations. Organizations should create organizational climate and build organizational culture, which will be encouraging for any individual, team, and organizational creativity. Organizations need to create an environment where employees are free to create, innovate, experiment, and take limited but reasonable risks. If employees work under the pressure, stress, and if they are punished for their mistakes and failure, they will work according to a set pattern, and the creativity and innovation will fail. Also, we have listed some limitations and recommendations. Limitations are extent of the sample and method of creating the research sample, as well as qualitative data that enable subjectivity. What we said about recommendation for future research, well, that's to enlarge the sample and to include quantitative data besides the qualitative data, and that the research should be repeated in a certain period of time in order to see changes and to make comparisons. That's all for today's presentation. Thank you all for your attention and kind regards from Mostar.